is 1070 The Game.
Talking Golf at TPC Wisconsin is brought to you by American Family Insurance, Oak Park Place, Wild Rock Golf Club, Mercedes-Benz of Madison, TPC Wisconsin, University Ridge Golf Course, Ridgetop Exteriors, Southern Italy Imports,
Mics
and
are on.
Nevada Bobs. Now, from TPC Wisconsin in Madison, here's your foursome for Talking Golf. Wisconsin Golf Hall of Famer Dennis Tiziani, Wisconsin broadcaster Hall of Famer Paul Braun, Wisconsin's premier golf reporter Gary D'Amato, and Mike Heller.
Change today.
I didn't.
Next week it will be different.
I didn't write or approve the script. I didn't demand it. My agent didn't go to people. I don't have an agent. So all of that.
Wait, you're still using that agent?
I don't have one.
I didn't mean to set you guys up.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
it was
it'll
you.
change
You kind of
next
started
week.
it.
It'll change next week.
Welcome in. It is Talking Golf at TPC Wisconsin, and when we go 2 weeks from tonight, it will be tournament week here at the AmFam Championship.
Starting to look like it
I know,
out here,
yes.
isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And Dennis, we'll start with that because, you've been out here how many years from Cherokee to when did you begin with Cherokee?
Well, it's now 53 years.
Never had grandstands out here, I don't believe, at any time. Have you?
No, it's
No.
been over on tennis.
Okay, on tennis. But this golf course has it is transformed with the spectator viewing areas. They're not done, but they will be in time to do this, and it is quite a visual transformation. And the workload, it is pretty much nonstop every day.
Has to be,
Yeah.
But keep in mind when we built, it's a tournament course,
Yeah.
so the places where the stands are, it was built for that.
Yeah.
Different than if you went to tournament went to a course that wasn't ready for this type of deal. So the viewing is phenomenal. They've done a really good job. There's more stands. It's behind 14, behind 15. On 16, the whole hole. On 17, the whole hole. 18 and 9. Tremendous viewing opportunity for people to see.
Guys, I want to ask you this question because all three of us are out here. I don't think it's unrealistic to say, depending on where you're sitting in the bleachers, right next to the front of the building, you may be able to see people tee off on 1 and 10, come in on 15, drive on 16, come in on 18, and watch them putt on 9 without moving. Is that it?
That's true, yeah.
Well, I think that's legitimate.
From the front of the building,
Right.
you can see 16 holes. You can't see number 4 or number 5. You can see 16 holes. I can watch players play.
Bring binoculars, by the way.
That's right.
Seriously.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea.
Bring your binoculars.
You can watch all the good-looking chicks. No,
Hey, there's good-looking golf going on.
That's right.
Out here.
But
at the
seriously,
AmFam
it is
Championship.
phenomenal, and I'm not just pumping the tires. It's legitimate.
No, I think it's going to be fantastic. And I saw over the weekend there were they had volunteers showing up on Saturday to be trained and kind of get a lay of the land. So the parking lot was full, and we're going to talk with Katie Johnson at about 6:30 tonight. She is the tournament manager. Some will remember Katie as Katie Elliott. Katie Johnson is the tournament manager. Very good golf family, and she has been with the AmFam Championship for a bunch of years. We'll talk to her about what is going on with. But let's now look back at the weekend. Let's talk about Scottie Scheffler. It is his 15th win. His first win on tour came in February 2022 in the Waste Management at TPC Scottsdale. So in 3 years and 3 months, he's won 15 times on tour. The money's ridiculous. I won't talk about the money, but it doesn't matter. He's winning a lot. He's been number one ranked golfer in the world for more than 100 weeks total time. And I've said this before, but I much more value your opinion on golf, Dennis. When he's at his best right now, he is unquestionably the best.
He really is. He's going to go down as one of the best, too. And I don't want to say this negative. However, he's shooting the scores to win. But there's a lot of players in the field who aren't quite to his caliber in the competition.
Sure. Yeah.
A lot of those people, some of them have families now on our tour.
Yeah.
Some have left, went to the Live Tour. But that being said, he's a tremendous player. Fundamentally, through the ball, he's as good as he could be. But if you watch him when he takes it away and he rips up down and he loses his footing half the time. Other than that business of how he comes into the ball is as good as anybody.
Dennis, it used to be Tiger, and I would think it would be a fair assessment to say that everybody else on the tour, there was them, and then there was Tiger, and everybody knew it. Is that the new situation with Scheffler?
No.
Okay.
Tiger's in a whole different class, whole different deal. Even when I watch him today, fundamentally, his swing is perfect, okay? These other guys have all kinds of flaws, but I think they're flaws, but they've been able to do them over and over again, and they've been able to play. But you notice they don't stay for a long time.
Sure.
They're here and they're gone, they're here and they're gone. But this guy here, he's here all the time. He's staying right on course. So, but he's a good player. You understand? There's a difference between hitting the ball and playing. He's such a good guy that his good guy carries over to the. He lives. Yeah. He plays golf the way he lives his life. That's impressive. Yeah,
I was having this conversation on my statewide show earlier today, and I wonder what your opinion, other than the politics of LIV, do you think LIV Tour players that come back and play in the majors are negatively impacted by the style of golf that LIV plays? 54 holes, shotgun starts. Do you think that impacts? We talk all the time about being comfortable when you're uncomfortable.
Right.
And I don't know if they're uncomfortable very often on the LIV Tour. Do you think there's some merit to that concept?
Right. I think the competition makes you better. They don't play in enough tournaments nor over time to do it. And I cannot believe that when you get paid that kind of money, your brain kind of ticks off a little bit.
Yeah.
You have to have that want in order to do it. And I don't think that it's there. I'm hoping it gets together sometime. I don't know how that will ever happen.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
I'm not sure either. And I wondered about money, too, because if you bring money into the equation, even though he's earned it by tour wins, Scotty Scheffler doesn't need the money anymore. He's not playing for the money, right? So what differentiates the player that isn't playing for money anymore? He's playing to win.
But he's past that point.
Right.
He's past that point of the money. That's such an immaterial. What did it make? $3 million? How
it was 3.4 to win this weekend.
You'd like to be his caddy. His caddy made 20% of
Yeah.
that. Caddy made $700,000.
One stat on the weekend I thought was shocking, and that is holes 14 and 15. They were 300 or more under par on those
field.
two holes.
Yeah, okay.
16 through 18, they were more than 500 over par.
Yeah.
That's an unbelievable swing, and it must say how tough 16, 17, and 18 were.
Yeah, well, they can make it tough, where you put the pins and how the speed of the green comes and stuff like that. You can make it as hard as, it's almost unplayable. Here is going to be a little bit different. Here, because these fairways are sand top dress, they're firm. Because the fairway's firm, they're going to be able to go ahead and hit it higher because of the bounce and a lot more spin. So that pin, it's going to be difficult to hide the pins here.
Yeah.
We'll watch that, see if it happens. And the scores, I think, are going to be extremely low. I went around with Steve and Jerry when they were here. Well, our guys are saying, how hard it is to drive it and everything else. Well, you're not.
They're further back than we
you're,
are, too.
You're not any good. That's what the deal is. These guys are right there.
Hold on a second. Are you talking to Paul or me?
Yeah, right. Right. Actually, but you can see that they're gonna shoot low.
28, 30 under, maybe.
Well, it's going to be low. I mean, 8 under a round is 24. 10 under is 30.
Scramble, I would think they'd
Saturday
do better.
they're shooting double digits.
Saturday's
scores are
it's going to be really fun to watch.
The
Great for the customer or the viewer.
Yeah.
They're going to be, I think, much more relaxed playing. I think you'll have conversations, and you'll see some real golf because they're going to turn it loose. They're going to be aggressive.
Sure. Yeah. Let me ask you about the non-conforming drivers. Both Rory McIlroy and Scotty Scheffler, they tested randomly 50 players' drivers, and those two, at least those two that we know of, were non-conforming, so they had to switch, and Rory didn't handle the switch very well. He did not drive the golf ball well, and Scotty Scheffler won the tournament. Can you paint the picture to understand what a non-conforming driver faced, that these guys weren't trying to cheat, but what?
Well, first of all,
Here it comes. Here it comes.
First of all,
here it comes.
He gets in the whisper voice. I don't know what's coming next.
Well, to be real though, the face is really made really thin now.
Sure.
And you're allowed so much of that coefficient of expansion on that face.
The trampoline effect.
Right. Yeah. But you hit it so many times it weakens. How long has that been going on? How long has it been weak? Why now? Just before the tournament start, do you check the data? Does somebody complain that those boys are hitting it too far?
Yeah.
They are hitting it far, and that has a lot to do with it. The face. There's also another part, and that's the shaft. They're able to make the shaft much thinner now than they were years ago. They were thick, years ago. And when you can make that shaft thin, you can get more twist, more radial torque in that shaft. Radial torque is distance. So it's not all the face. It's that part, too. I mean, come on, 340 yards, 320, 330 carry. Something isn't right. I guess the ball has a lot to do with it. I get it, but I don't know. It's hard to believe that I didn't know that the ball is going a little bit higher and a little further after I've had this thing. How long have I been playing with this club,
Yeah. They don't test every week, and they don't test every player.
No. And how, for me, how did it all start out? I think you should do that because it is an issue, but I think before too long, and it's happened to some of our people here, the face cracks. It happened to Steve. His face broke.
Yeah.
Because it's that thin and that hitting in the same spot, over and over and over again. And that hard, you got to give them credit. But I don't know. I have a hard time with that business of checking somebody. You could have waited till after the tournament at least.
Yeah. The major championship on the Champions Tour, they will play again this week in the Senior PGA Championship. Then they have the week off. Then they'll be right here. What did you see from Steve? He shot 68, 72, 70, 69 in his first competitive tournament this year. Finished 9 under par, tied for 22nd. Angel Cabrera won it. Jerry Kelly was one shot back. That tournament finished today. What did you see from Steve?
Well, I see that it was rusty. I didn't have a pain, but he didn't play very good. But I watched some of that putting, and that's the thing that goes away, that short game and that putting. And I'm hoping that, I texted him and I said, it's a great warm-up for this week.
Yeah.
And, he's got a great caddy on the bag this week.
Izzy is going to go out to Bethesda and Congressional and carry the bag.
Izzy caddy, she'll be won't be too long just when they played, And they were playing in that, how they played the couples. Father-daughter, father-son. Yeah. And then she's going along and she's playing good. At about the 6th hole, she tells him, Dad, when are you going to start playing? That's her. Dad, when are you going to start playing?
Do you think 4 days of competition, based on his performance and what the injuries he had in the past, could be a factor? Or did he say how he's feeling or anything like that?
No, but 8 days would. Because there's really 3 tournaments before ours. But he can't play in that last one. 8 days is going to be plenty for him to do.
Yeah.
And, he's 58 now, not that that's that old, but how long he's been doing this.
Yeah.
And
it's close to 30 years or more.
Yeah, and he likes being home. He's got a lot of things that he does here other than golfing. But I still think, and I said this before, his history is in his future. His history may not be competitive golf, but the history for him as a result of playing golf is still out there. So he's very in tune to Children's Hospital. We know. I just talked to a young fella that he gave to the university for scholarship. So he's very much into all that stuff.
Yeah.
Things that he doesn't talk about, things that he won't talk about. But there's more to him than just this business of winning.
Plus watching Izzy and Bobby play.
Well, that's it. And, I look at some of the things that they're working on, and I don't know if I would do it that way, but we have a rule. It's Dad first, Grandpa second. That's the way it works. Dad first, Grandpa second. So
that's a good
when
rule.
he's gone, then, they'll say, Grandpa, I'm going to hit some balls. You care to watch? I said, okay.
While he's away. He's away. We're going to visit with Gary D'Amato. He'll join us on the other side. Katie Johnson, the tournament manager here at the AmFam Championship, 3 weeks out. 2.5 weeks out. She will join us at 6:30, and we welcome you aboard. We'll be back in a couple of minutes. This is Talking Golf at TPC Wisconsin.
Your golf game need a pick-me-up? It's one-stop shopping only.
Clear. Break number 1, 3 minutes. Gary is on the line.
Apparel, balls, you name it, and they got it. Isn't that right, Joel?
Your game, your store, always at the best price.
Get your tickets now to the American Family Insurance Championship. Wisconsin's own Steve Stricker hosts this annual PGA Tour Champions event June 6th through the 8th. This year, the tournament moves to its new home at TPC Wisconsin. The AmFam Championship also debuts an exciting team competition with 2-person teams competing in best ball and scramble formats over the 3-day tournament. The American Family Insurance Championship is June 6th through the 8th. Get more information and purchase tickets at amfamchampionship.com.
Why drive an ordinary car when for the same monthly payment, you could be driving something extraordinary? Aaron Perkins, General Manager, Zimbrick European. Imagine yourself behind the wheel of a Mercedes-Benz, Audi, or Porsche. More safety, performance, and luxury, and way more fun. And getting more costs less than you think. Zimbrick European makes leasing affordable. Discover the value for yourself. Stop in and test drive a Mercedes-Benz, Audi, or Porsche today. Visit Zimbrick European and find out why leasing the car of your dreams makes so much sense.
Hey, it's Mike Heller for Lombardi Lemonada Hard Lemonade. Everybody loves something new, especially when it's brand new and a taste of your favorite hard lemonade just in time for summer. Lombardi Lemonada comes in 4 unique flavors, crafted with all natural lemon juice and no artificial sweeteners. Crisp, clean, and so refreshing. It's a little slice of Sicily made right here in Wisconsin. Pick up some Lombardi Lemonada today at your local Festival Foods or at Woodman's and taste the summertime. Variety packs or single flavors available.
Escape to Wild Rock Golf Club in Wisconsin Dells, where championship golf meets breathtaking natural beauty. The perfect golf getaway awaits, with numerous luxurious lodging styles, perfect for groups of any size. Carved from the natural beauty of the area, Wild Rock is set against rolling hills, rugged terrain, and views you won't forget. Book your next round or stay and play package today and get ready for an exceptional golf experience. Visit wildrockgolf.com for more information. That's wildrockgolf.com.
Hi, Matt LePay, your friendly game announcer for Ridgetop Exteriors. Is your home ready to stand out this season? Ridgetop Exteriors, Wisconsin's trusted name in home improvement, does more than just top-quality roofing. They're your go-to for maintenance-free siding and energy-efficient windows. Ridgetop has expert credentials with leading manufacturers like Pella,
30
James
seconds
Hardy,
to music.
and LP Smart
30
Siding.
seconds.
For over 20 years, they've delivered exceptional craftsmanship and service. Call Ridgetop Exteriors today or visit ridgetopexteriors.com for your free consultation. Ridgetop Exteriors, where customer service always comes first.
Your golf game need a pick-me-up? It's one-stop shopping only at Nevada Bob. Joel and his crew can equip you, dress you, teach you, and here's the best part.
10 seconds. You got 10.
Clubs, shoes, bags, carts, apparel, balls, you name it, and they got it. Isn't that right, Joel?
Your game, your store, always at the best price.
Mics are on.
Back with you, it's Talking Golf at TPC Wisconsin. I'm Mike Heller. That is Dennis Tiziani, in the middle. Paul Braun is here as well.
We get to watch a little equipment adjustment out here, just outside the window.
Yeah, dropped a little pallet of some of the bleachers that are being put
Poor
outside.
guy's all by himself. I think he's calling somebody. He's going to need help. He's
Get
back
some
on
help
track.
here in a moment. Gary D'Amato, and this segment is always brought to you by Lombardi Lemonada. Gary D'Amato, former president of the National Golf Writers Association of America, joins us. Gary, we were talking about the PGA. Yeah, Big Shot is right. We were talking about the PGA Championship. It was at Quail Hollow, and I think Quail Hollow got a little bit of a bad rap going into the tournament. What were your thoughts on how that tournament course stood up over the weekend?
Well, I did think it got a bad rap. I mean, Hunter Mahan said some bad things about Quail Hollow. I mean, Hunter Mahan wasn't in the field. He hasn't even played for 4 years. And some other players said a couple derogatory things, and then it sort of became the story du jour early in the week with the media. A lot of people wrote that it's not a great major championship venue. But I say, look at the leaderboard. Was it good? It was great. Look at the winner. I mean, the cream rose to the top, except for maybe Rory McIlroy. It was a great leaderboard. And that finishing stretch, I mean, 14 and 15 are holes where you can, I think Paul pointed out earlier in the show, you could really attack those holes and make birdies. And then the Green Miles, 16, 17, and 18 were very difficult holes where a lot of things, there was a lot of drama. I thought it got a bad rap. I thought it was a really good championship venue.
Gary, let me ask you a question. You've followed the tour for many, many years. Apparently, Rory did not talk to the media in this tournament. You have a problem with that? I'm just curious if you would have been there.
I do a little bit. I mean, Rory, I'll say this, Rory's always been great. I mean, he's been really good with the media and always accessible and, a good quote and, thoughtful and introspective. But, obviously he was disappointed in the way he played. We all understand that. And, the players, some of them don't think they have an obligation to talk to the media, but I kind of disagree with that. I mean, I think they are obligated to talk. I mean, he didn't have to talk every day, but certainly at the end of the championship, he could have spared 5 minutes to talk about his disappointment and, let him have a cooling off period. I understand that, like they do in other sports, but then he should have, come out to the flash quote area, I think, and just answered a few questions. I do have a little bit of problem. I mean, you can't just talk when things go great. You have to explain yourself when things don't. I mean, the fans and the people want to know what's going through your head at that point.
But you're really not talking to the media. You're talking to the people.
Yes, and they're
that's
conduit.
That's the deal. You're not talking to the people. I mean,
exactly.
You're not big enough to handle it. But who knows what happened? He might have, I don't know, his girlfriend might have let him go or something. You never know what happens, why he won't do that.
So on the non-conforming drivers, had you ever covered stories of that, and what's your interpretation of how that played out this weekend?
Yeah, I looked at a lot of social media when it came out that Rory's driver was deemed non-conforming, and a lot of people don't understand what that means, and there's people accusing Rory of cheating. I mean, come on, Rory McIlroy's not a cheater. Neither is obviously Scotty Scheffler. What happens is, and I think Dennis explained it, when you hit a driver hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times at the speed those guys generate, the face spins out a little bit, and they get a little bit more of a trampoline effect than when the club is new. And then it goes beyond the USGA's, limit to what is acceptable. So that's all that happened, and it happens a lot. And but it is interesting, and I think you guys pointed out that when Rory had to change driver heads, he definitely had trouble driving the ball straight. I mean, he's been the longest straighter driver maybe we've ever seen, and he had a hard time hitting fairways in this championship. So something was not exactly identical with that driver head or the way it married to the shaft as his previous driver.
We're talking to Gary D'Amato, who joins us weekly on the program. Let me ask you about some in-state stuff. Let's start with the Kohler company, angling for more tournaments, major tournaments, Ryder Cup. What's the storyline with Kohler?
Yeah, they've already got 3 USGA championships coming up. Certainly not the U.S. Open, but nice big national championships. But they really want another Ryder Cup, and I read some quotes by David Kohler, the CEO of Herb Kohler, the late Herb Kohler's son, saying we deserve another Ryder Cup, and it's pretty hard to argue with that. I mean, they set revenue records at Whistling Straits. The course was able to be, Steve Stricker and his team and the PGA of America were able to set that course up that favored the Americans. They won 19-9, set a scoring record. The fans were, out of this world. The enthusiasm and the size of the crowds was amazing. Why wouldn't they get another Ryder Cup? The only problem is the next available date in the U.S. is 2041, so that's a long way off. But,
wow.
but I sure, that tournament gets spoken for pretty quick. But I sure hope they bring it back to Whistling Straits. I do think they definitely deserve another one.
And then I didn't. You're going to have to fill me in on the story of the WPGA match play with Schumann and Teresa. Fill me in, and those who are listening, that storyline.
Yeah, Jim Schumann and Eddie Teresa, two of the best playing club professionals on our state for the last 2+ decades, sort of filled in after Dennis and his group,
Mm-hmm.
And those two guys are they're class acts. They're great players on a national level even, and they've been going at it, for years and years. Between them, they've won 40 tournaments, major tournaments, PGA stroke plays and match plays, and state senior opens and state opens. And they went head-to-head last week in the WPGA Match Play Championship in an early round, I think the second round. And Schumann was 3 up with, I think, 5 or 6 holes to go, and Eddie won a couple holes. Then Schumann birdies the last hole, which normally would have won it, except Eddie eagled it to force extra holes. And Schumann finally won on the third extra hole. But just a tremendous match. Uh-huh. And, what more would you expect from two Hall of Famers and two great players and guys I've enjoyed covering for the last 25 years, really good people too.
Sometimes in media they tell you not to ask a question if you don't think you know what the answer is going to be. But I'm going to ask both you and Dennis this question from this last weekend's PGA Championship. I don't know how many PGA Club pros are in the field. That's the only tournament
20.
that does it.
I think it was 20.
20.
Okay, 20.
Yeah.
Do you like that? It's the only tournament that does it. Let me start with Dennis. Do you like that club pros are in the PGA Championship? None of them made the cut. A couple of years ago, it was Michael Block who made the cut and was in contention. But otherwise, not. I mean, this year and last, I don't believe anybody made the cut. What's your view on that tournament using PGA club pros?
Well, anytime I see that when you put a club pro in who doesn't play golf for a living, you're taking a spot away from somebody who is playing for a living. So I have a negative of that.
Okay.
I like the idea that the club pro gets some opportunity because, there was a day when the best player at the club was the club pro.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really?
It's not very common anymore.
It's not very common anymore. So you've taken that away. They become credit card collectors, stuff like that. So but there are some that can't afford to be out there, have families, have all that sort of stuff. So having that opportunity to play, I think it was great. I was one of those people, and I played at Congressional, right? But I made a cut. Was it different? No, I'm kidding you. I did make the cut, but it was a joke. Different. But my thing is, I just think that the club pro is getting ripped off. That we spend all this time teaching people, young people, players who go on to the tour, yet we have no benefit, zero benefit from tour money.
From pension
or
anything else.
That's my point. That's the deal. Somewhere along the line, if I had to do this over right now based on where the tour and live, I'd start a third tour.
Yeah.
I'd start the PGA Tour, and I'd start all over again and get people to play in the Pro Tour. But we have to participate in the proceeds. I've yet to see a very successful business that does not offer their employees benefits.
Yeah, yeah.
And the big one is the retirement program, 401k, stuff like that. That doesn't happen. I got to quit bitching about it. I know that.
Yeah.
But in answer to your question, it's nice that some get in there.
Sure.
20. You're throwing a little bit of a fruitcake out there to it. But I look at it the other way. You're taking away a spot from somebody who does that for a living.
Gary, your thoughts on PGA Club pros playing in the PGA Championship, a major?
Yeah, I have a little bit different take than Dennis.
Really?
It's the strongest. So let me talk. It's the strongest field outside of the Players' Championship. I mean, they get. I didn't look at the top 100 this week, but they typically get 96 to 99 of the top 100 players in the world. One of those guys is going to win the championship, right? Someone in the top 100. Well, the bottom 20 in that field of 156, those guys aren't going to win. Now, I know you're taking away a spot, as Dennis points out, and that's a valid point. But those bottom 20 guys, they're not going to win the PGA Championship. So why not throw a bone to the 20 PGA?
I'll just throw one word. I'll just throw one word out. John Daly.
Last qualifier.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. He was an exception to the rule. I would agree.
Whoa, but he won. He was an alternate to get in the event, and he won the tournament.
Yeah.
So
it does happen.
I rest my case.
A rare occasion.
Gary, quick one for you, and maybe your list will have changed in the last couple of years. What is your 3 top hidden gems of golf courses in the state of Wisconsin? And question, is Hawksview in Lake Geneva one of your 3?
Why don't you let him answer the question?
I'm just
You
curious.
sound like this guy's on Golf Channel.
No, I'm just curious.
Well, then ask the question, but let him
I
give you
did.
the answer. But then you said, well, you want, but then you
He can
had
disagree with it.
You had to throw that in there, you know.
Gary?
I enjoy Hawksview. I really like it. I wouldn't put it in my top 3.
There you go.
Hidden gems. I like courses that really are hidden gems that a lot of people don't know about. There's a course called Spring Valley down near the state line. It's a Langford Moreau, same guys who designed the Sonia Links and West Bend Country Club. Great architects, and they designed this course that it's owned by a family, the Wagner family, and they don't have the money to spend millions of dollars on maintenance. So it's a little shaggy, but it is a fun golf course. And then there's a course called Eagle Springs. It's a 9-holer. You guys familiar with that one?
I am not.
It's 115 years old. Some of the holes were designed by A.G. Spalding of the Spalding Sporting Goods Company. It's a little 9-hole course near McWanago, and it is just a blast to play. Really, I mean, you wouldn't design a course like this one today, but it's one of those courses that has quirky holes that are fun holes and memorable. And it's a $20 or $25 round of golf. It's very affordable, and so those are 2 that come in mind immediately.
Yeah. How about Milwaukee Country Club?
Well,
how about Century World?
That is, yeah.
How about
absolutely,
TPC Wisconsin?
Well, that one coming. No, they're not hidden.
Call those hidden gems, though.
Yeah. They are. Nobody can play them.
Well, yeah.
Nobody can play them.
Yes.
They're.
Yeah,
anyway.
but they
From
get
the
great
private
publicity
standpoint.
because they're great golf courses.
Yeah.
So
whatever.
yeah,
You
I'm
picked-
talking about courses that a lot of people don't know.
Do they give you free green fees? Is that why you?
Oh boy!
I pay for my golf.
There we
You'll
go.
make me pay when I come to TPC, right?
Oh, you're going to pay when you come here. I'll tell you that.
There we go. Gary D'Amato, thank you. We always appreciate it. We'll look forward to the next week when we visit again.
All right, guys.
All right, thank you, Gary. Katie Johnson is the tournament manager at the AmFam Championship coming up just over 2 weeks from now, and she will join us when we come back. It's Talking Golf at TPC Wisconsin.
There's a new home and a new team competition for the 2025.
Clear. Break 2, 3 minutes, 3 minutes.
PGA Tour Champions event, the AmFam Championship, at a new course, TPC Wisconsin. The tournament also debuts a team competition with 2-person teams competing in best ball and scramble formats. The American Family Insurance Championship, June 6th through the 8th. Get details and ticket information at amfamchampionship.com.
Sculpted by glaciers, played by champions, the University of Wisconsin Golf Course University Ridge is open for play and awaiting your arrival. With more tee times open in 2025, you can reserve your next round directly at universityridge.com. Not enough time for golf? Enjoy our excellent selection of Wisconsin golf merchandise. Fine-tune your game at our world-class practice facility or grab a bite and drink at the W Grill. Put University Ridge on your calendar in 2025 and play where the Badgers play. That's University Ridge Golf Course.
When you or a loved one could use a helping hand, turn to the caring team of experts in senior living at Oak Park Place. This is Paul Braun, and when I needed someone to help me navigate senior living for my wife, I called Oak Park Place.
Katie is on the line. Katie is on the line.
Promotes independence when you want it, assistance when you need it. Oak Park Place Senior Living. Visit oakparkplace.com to learn more.
Why drive an ordinary car when for the same monthly payment you could be driving something extraordinary? Aaron Perkins, General Manager, Zimbrick European. Imagine yourself behind the wheel of a Mercedes-Benz, Audi, or Porsche. More safety, performance, and luxury, and way more fun. And getting more costs less than you think. Zimbrick European makes leasing affordable. Discover the value for yourself. Stop in and test drive a Mercedes-Benz, Audi, or Porsche today. Visit Zimbrick European and find out why leasing the car of your dreams makes so much sense.
TPC Wisconsin is the Total People Center, offering you and your family a totally enjoyable experience. That includes a challenging 18-hole layout, a good variety of programs for junior golfers, indoor and outdoor tennis, athletic performance center, swimming pool, luxurious locker room, and spacious accommodations for family gatherings and weddings. TPC Wisconsin, a Total People Center and a complete game for the whole family. For membership details, call 608-249-1000.
The final episode of Season 3 of the Larrabee and LePay podcast is available.
30 seconds, you got 30.
Now. Matt and Wayne talk with Jake Kokorowski, who covers the Wisconsin Badgers for Sports Illustrated, about where Badger football sits coming out of spring. Plus, Wayne talks Packers post-draft and what to look for in the upcoming OTAs.
Yes.
You can listen to this and every episode of the Larrabee and LePay podcast. Available anytime
10 seconds to music, 10 seconds.
Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Presented by UW Credit Union. Here for every you.
Mics are on.
It is Talking Golf at TPC Wisconsin. I'm Mike Heller, Paul Brown, Dennis Tiziani join me on the panel, and we are happy to welcome Katie Johnson to the show. She's the tournament manager for the AmFam Championship coming up just over 2 weeks from now. Do you like looking at the calendar, Katie, and knowing that you're 2 weeks in a day or 2 weeks in a couple of days out? I mean, all the events all week long. How does that calendar look to you?
It's coming fast right now, so I try to avoid looking at the calendar as much as possible, but it's something that keeps us honest each and every day out here at the tournament office.
Well, let me ask you about a few of the elements that are involved. This is a unique setting compared to being at University Ridge because it's in a residential area that borders the golf course on, most of its playing facility. So how do you manage to make sure that residential is not impacted negatively, or how is it controlled? I'm sure that's been part of your process for quite a while now.
It has. It's been a big part of the process and a big part of the plan since the transition over here. So we're fortunate enough to have some really great people at MPD and Parks in the city of Madison that have been a part of every conversation that we've had. And I think we've come together to put together a pretty good plan with as minimal disruption as possible. Certainly we're bringing in a lot of folks over the course of the weekend for the event, but we want the people around here to still be able to live their life the same way that they would, any day of the week. So we're trying our best, again, to put on a successful event with as minimal disruption as possible. And like I said, doing it with the key parties that we've been working with since the start.
Wheeler Road, for those who aren't familiar, Wheeler Road is the east-west road that is about a quarter mile or so from the clubhouse proper. That will be the cutoff point for any vehicle traffic can't go north of Wheeler onto the golf course area or the properties surrounding it. When we've talked to Nate Pokrass, obviously we know the parking for those coming out to the tournament Friday, Saturday, Sunday will be at Madison College and all bussed in. But what about parking as it relates to the neighborhoods that are outside of the Wheeler corridor? Will that be available?
Yes, so what we're going to do is we have some residential parking plazas in place for those residents that live within that bubble that you mentioned. So Sherman Avenue north of Wheeler, and those we're working on getting the mailings out to all of our residents, and they should see those soon. The folks in the Comanche neighborhood area, we're going to also have an officer stationed on Comanche Way, so we are encouraging all of our non-residents to park off-site. We are trying to minimize the disruption around this area. Like I said, those areas off of Comanche Way and Wheeler Road will all have, Sherman Avenue, will all have residential parking permits. And everything else, we're just encouraging to go to Madison College. That's going to be the closest that you get to our event. Those shuttles are going to be Badger coach shuttles. They're going to be very nice vehicles, and they're going to drop you off as close as you can get to the event.
Katie, if you would, put into perspective what you're seeing, the history with UW Ridge and how the tournament was for the people that are coming to TPC Wisconsin. And when you think about the total picture, the setup and everything that's here, can you give us what your thoughts are on what they're going to see and how they're going to enjoy it, and what may be a little bit different about the two locations?
Yeah, for sure. TPC is a beautiful property, and when you step on site, you're going to see that. Everything really is out in front of you. So you're going to see multiple holes wherever you're standing on the golf course, which I think is really unique. It's something that we didn't have at University Ridge. Our hospitality venues and our public fan-facing venues, they're going to be right there when you walk in the gate. We've got more on-course viewing than we've ever had for our just general spectators. And so I think it's just going to be a really great experience, a family-friendly experience. Again, we'll continue to keep those concession prices as low as possible. But like I said, I think the biggest thing is that multi-hole viewing that you're going to see out here. That's going to bring a whole new experience to the event.
Katie, one of the things that people don't think about, but you certainly have, there are 450 Pro-Am golfers that will play out here on Wednesday and Thursday. In 48 hours, you will host not only the tournament players, but 450 Pro-Am golfers. How significant is that challenge?
It's definitely a challenge, and it's definitely long business days for us. But it's really fun. So for those, most know what a Pro-Am is, but for those that don't, 4 amateur participants play with one of the PGA Tour professionals out there on the golf course. And, we've got all the logistics to work through with them, from where are they dropping their bags to where are their vehicles parking to how are we getting them on and around the golf course. And so we've got a huge team in place, some amazing volunteers, a lot of repeat volunteers that have been with us since the start. So they're veterans, and it's really just kind of taking the picture that we had over at University Ridge and moving it onto the TPC golf course, and just recreating those, those same kind of ideas that we hosted out there. But it's a lot of folks out there. It's a lot of fun, and it's a wonderful experience for those sponsors that can be on course.
Obviously, Katie, the tournament hasn't been held yet, but I'd be curious of the initial feedback that you're getting from different sources. What have people and the players and those involved with the tournament in reaction to the new format of the best ball, the scramble, and the best ball?
There's a lot of excitement. I think everyone is just looking forward to something fresh and something new. We don't have that team format, and the players don't have that team format, or they play it very, very minimally. So it's just something that's going to be really unique to our market. And I think the fans are going to see a lot of birdies. There's going to be a lot of camaraderie between the players out there, and just a whole new excitement to what we've seen in the past.
Well, Katie, we appreciate you spending a little time with us, and I know that everything will be fantastic. The entire, whether it's the volunteers or what Nate does or what you're doing, Janet Masters, the whole crew, I'm going to leave a bunch of people out, but everybody that's involved in it, you do a fantastic job. Can't wait for the tournament, and appreciate spending some time with you tonight.
Absolutely. Thank you for the support, and we are lucky. We are a very lucky team, so I appreciate you guys having us on.
Katie Johnson, she is the tournament manager coming up for this AmFam championship here.
Dennis, the conversation among some of the employees and that kind of thing, did I hear that throughout the week you guys are going to serve over 4,000 meals?
Pretty close.
Isn't that crazy when you think about it?
We have to get a special semi that is cold enough. That's where a lot of the food, that's how much food we're talking about here.
Yeah.
But that's pretty good. We're equipped for it.
Yeah.
People here are very good. And, I get to see these people like American Family. It's unbelievable how good they really are, and how much attention to detail, and how often they're here, and on and on and on and on it goes. It's amazing. We're kind of lucky to have that type of a group.
Yeah,
but I didn't get to talk to her. I was really more interested in what her sister was doing. So. I used to teach her sister.
Yeah,
she's a good player.
That whole Elliott
I'm sure you'll see her during the tournament.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she'll show up. I don't know.
You won't be busy.
No. I told you what I'm doing.
I didn't. You've told me.
Well, we every week we have a bi-weekly meeting with my staff, 12 to 15 people. So
they're not going to put on the Pope uniform, are you?
No, don't.
No, not
bring
yet,
up
not
ideas,
yet.
Paul.
So anyway, I told him, I said, it's going along so good here. I think what I'm going to do is go up to my hunting camp for the week.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. Right.
And you know what they did?
On a scale of 1 to 10?
But you know what they did? Immediately, they all clapped.
Oh, yeah. Hey, good
they all
idea.
clapped. They say, good idea,
boss.
Get out of here. You know? That's pretty cool.
We'll take a break, come back with more in just a couple of minutes, talking golf at TPC Wisconsin.
Your golf game need a pick-me-up? It's one-stop shopping.
Clear. Break number 3. 3 minutes. 3 minutes. Just to check in, we've got nobody the rest of the show, right? Thank you.
Family Insurance Championship returns to Madison with 2 new exciting changes in 2025. Wisconsin's own Steve Stricker hosts the annual PGA Tour Champions event June 6th through the 8th at its new home golf course, TPC, Wisconsin. The AmFam Championship also debuts a new team competition this year. 2-person teams will compete in the best ball and scramble formats. The American Family Insurance Championship, June 6th through the 8th. Get details and ticket information at amfamchampionship.com.
Escape to Wild Rock Golf Club in Wisconsin Dells, where championship golf meets breathtaking natural beauty. The perfect golf getaway awaits, with numerous luxurious lodging styles, perfect for groups of any size. Carved from the natural beauty of the area, Wild Rock is set against rolling hills, rugged terrain, and views you won't forget. Book your next round or stay and play package today and get ready for an exceptional golf experience. Visit wildrockgolf.com for more information. That's wildrockgolf.com.
Hi, Matt LePay, your friendly game announcer for Ridgetop Exteriors. Is your home ready to stand out this season? Ridgetop Exteriors, Wisconsin's trusted name in home improvement, does more than just top-quality roofing. They're your go-to for maintenance-free siding and energy-efficient windows. Ridgetop has expert credentials with leading manufacturers like Pella, James Hardie, and LP Smart Siding. For over 20 years, they've delivered exceptional craftsmanship and service. Call Ridgetop Exteriors today or visit ridgetopexteriors.com for your free consultation. Ridgetop Exteriors, where customer service always comes first.
Would you like more time to focus on your hobbies and less time with keeping up with your home? This is Paul Braun for the Arbor's Independent Living at Oak Park Place. Contact the leasing team at Oak Park Place to find out how you can live your best life doing the things you enjoy with neighbors that quickly become friends at the Arbor's Independent Living at Oak Park Place on Madison's East Side and in Janesville. Live life, live well. Visit oakparkplace.com to learn more.
Hey guys, it's Mike Heller for Lombardi Limonada. You know this is my time of year, hitting the links, grilling out, boating. Better weather means Lombardi time. Lombardi Limonada, an Italian-inspired hard lemonade, locally owned and made with all natural ingredients, none of those artificial sweeteners. And it goes great with just about any
30 seconds to music. You got 30.
Anytime, anywhere. Loosen up by picking up some Lombardi Limonada today at your local Festival Foods and make any time feel like summertime with Lombardi Limonada.
Your golf game need a pick-me-up? It's one-stop shopping only at Nevada Bob. Joel and his crew can equip you, dress you, teach you, and here's the best part.
10 seconds.
Clubs,
10
shoes,
seconds.
Bags, carts, apparel, balls, you name it, and they got it. Isn't that right, Joel?
Your game, your store, always at the best price.
Mics are on.
Still have a little bit more time to discuss some of the issues. Shane Lowry in the PGA Championship over the weekend had an embedded ball rule controversy. The embedded ball rule in the fairway is if the ball embeds in your own pitch mark, you get relief. His ball apparently didn't come to rest in his own pitch mark, but in somebody else's. And that is not how the letter of the law is written. We talked about it a little bit off the air during the break. It's a silly rule, and he ended up, not being able to take advantage of the situation. He did have to play from.
It says embedded ball,
right,
not in your own body. That's wrong what they did. It's terribly wrong.
Yeah.
That, and along with the business of divots,
hitting a ball out of a divot.
There should never happen. You should be able to drop it out of that, especially in the fairway. Not especially in the fairway. But he was right in what he did. That's a wrong deal.
Yeah.
Who would say no, you had to hit it out of that? I would like to say, who would say that?
Sure.
Another player? I doubt it.
Did you see his reaction?
Well, his reaction was not favorable.
Well,
somebody else involved themselves in the conversation.
Yeah.
A ESPN employee involved himself in the conversation by saying, that's not your pitch mark. Well, like for me, it's not your place to enter into this conversation.
Exactly.
It is the player and the rules official, and you are not involved. Stay out of it.
Right. Well, a penalty? You caused the guy a penalty, and he's in the fairway.
Yeah.
Come on. No common sense, but that's normal today.
Yeah, we had this conversation a year ago about the divots. Those who are on the other side of the argument will say, well, when that divot is growing back in, at what point is it no longer a divot? When it's been repaired and grass is growing, but maybe there's a little bit of a depression there. And that's where the discussion comes in, Dennis?
Yeah, but a divot means part of the ball, a good portion of the ball is obscured. You can't hit the ball.
Okay.
You don't hit the ball on the top. You hit it in the middle to the bottom.
Yeah.
Can't get to it. So, and he's in the fairway.
Yeah.
That's a penalty on the player. That's wrong. But, like I said, I'll tell you what, within a week, 10 days, that rule will change.
Oh, you think?
Oh, absolutely.
How do they change it specifically? What's the exact criteria?
USGA.
They have a panel of people, or how does
absolutely. Making rules. You ever see the rule book now?
Yeah.
It's about this thick. You know how many rules there was when?
Like 15 or 16?
10.
10 rules?
10 rules there was years ago when it first started out. And like I told you before, when you teed it up 10 steps from the hole. Now you have to take a car to get to the next tee, So,
well, and the longer they make the golf courses, I was listening to a conversation on this with Frank Nobilo today on the Golf Channel, as they lengthen golf courses to 7,600 yards. Those are golf courses that they have changed, and now the green to the next tee box, they're not next to each other anymore. Like you talked about 10 paces, sometimes that is 100 yards or 150 yards in order to lengthen the golf course, in order to make it not too unfair for the length that players are hitting the golf ball right now.
Right. Well, you can always make the par 5s longer. Par 5s are meant to be a 3-shot hole. So make them 630, 640.
Yeah. Well, it'll be interesting out here that you have a drivable par 4. We've seen that in the PGA Championship. There was a drivable par 4.
They're going to be hitting a 3-wood. Mm-hmm. Some guys will hit an iron. It's 274, 276.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, these guys are going to hit
I tell you what, they've got a structure around the tee that's pretty close.
Right on it. Yeah.
It's right on. Our people are going to be right there.
Yeah.
If you go out there on the green and look back, it's beautiful.
Uh-huh.
You can see all the tees.
Yeah.
See them all right here. They're going to see this right in front. A lot of oohs and ahs. One quick thing, we go ahead and have a par 3s. Yeah. I've got a book now for par 3s. So we have a par 3 is like 5 and 8 and 14 and 17. And I have a picture. But I also have one that's 16. There's going to be a hole-in-one at 16.
Yeah.
So I've got 5 possibilities for hole.
You think somebody will hit one up in the grandstand on 16?
Absolutely.
Yep. There's a possibility somebody's going to hit one in the grandstand.
Absolutely.
Well, and they're going to get they'll get some many times favorable bounces off of those grandstands. By the way, we're going to keep it here, and just a little backstory. We'll combine that last break. So I want to ask you about some of that on this drivable par 4. Mm-hmm. What is, especially in the scramble, I mean, everybody's going to be putting for eagle.
Absolutely. If they're going to hit this, like I said, you'll have fairway woods and you'll have those 5 woods and stuff. I mean, 270 something.
Depending on how the wind blows.
Well, the wind is going to it's going to blow from left to right. Assuming that we have normal weather.
If we have normal weather,
it's going to be a little bit of a left to right. But
I tell you, another interesting one is how close the green is on 15 where the stands are.
Yeah.
If you're on the back side of that green, and literally people are going to be basically above your head about 5 or 6 feet away at the very most. They're going to be that close to you.
I think for those of us who have spent some time out here, this is going to be such a special treat to see the course this way, and then to also see it on television. Because, we'll be out here, but then you go back and watch it on your DVR and see what you're seeing from the camera angles that they're going to have, and the aerial shots and the other elements to it. It's going to be a special treat for anybody who's spent time out here at all, whether it was when it was Cherokee or in its
They're going to be
version.
shocked.
Yeah, it's going to be
They're going to be
dramatic
shocked.
change.
Yeah, it is.
Well, it's a tournament course. Mm-hmm. It was made 70,000 to 72. Now, on that, when I say tournament course, now we've got these other tees. 3s, 4s, and 5s. There's 6 or 7 tees on each one, so the possibility of a person playing from the 3s or the 4s is going to get in the same place that this guy's playing from 2s.
You want to put any odds on whether the Golf Channel wants to talk to him being the owner? Do you think?
Well, I mean, it should be an interview that they record. That way they can edit it. Don't go to the hat.
They're going to the Pope. The Pope thing is coming out.
Don't do the hat thing. And they're going to have to record that because there's not a chance in the world that those smart people would take this guy live. Right?
They might have to have their finger on, on the button.
If anybody knows well enough, there will be a recorded interview.
Dennis will be writing those checks.
No kidding. Who pays for that fine? But it really is neat, and the work continues all the way up to it. You're painting the exterior of the building. The learning facility continues to process and will be open. All of the elements here in the clubhouse proper, the restaurants, the bars, everything that's been all redone. It will be.
How good is this going to be for people who play golf?
Yeah.
How good for the state of Wisconsin, for sure.
Yeah.
You know, that they can get to see tournament golf.
Think the players will be impressed when they walk in the locker room?
Well, yeah, it's a little different. It's beautiful.
Compared to the old one and what it is now?
Well, they've got their own locker. They all have their own locker. There's TV and sitting
leather
areas.
chairs and card room and whatever.
All of it.
No,
Very
it's
neat.
really cool.
Can't wait. It's going to be fantastic. We're still 2 weeks away, so we'll have another show next Monday. Then the following week, when we do the show on Monday, it will be tournament week. So this is fun and exciting times out here. Big thank you to Gary D'Amato and to Katie Johnson, who both joined us on the show this week. Best of luck to Steve Stricker and Jerry Kelly and company at the Senior PGA Championship in Bethesda at Congressional coming up this week. We'll talk again next Monday night, talking golf at TPC Wisconsin.
Perfect.
Clear.